your training, your professional experience, did you arrive at certain opinions and conclusions in this case?
The main conclusion that struck me, having been involved in similar discussions in Allentown, as Allentown was debating similar updates and revisions to its own zoning ordinance, was concerned that the amendment didn't clearly articulate the planning priorities set out in the comprehensive plan, and that it also was very unclear as to how the recommended adjustment would affect properties throughout the city.
Okay, and just let's take a step back now, and can you just give basically a zoning primer? What are you looking for as a planning professional in a zoning ordinance or a zoning amendment? What are the basic tenets? What do you need to see in a zoning ordinance to make it valid?
Well, the role that I'm typically playing in zoning ordinances is the one that comes before the specific drafting of the ordinance, and that's usually the comprehensive plan. Same thing happened here in Bethlehem. New comprehensive plan was updated 2009. That's where the community's priorities, visions, how it wants to see properties used, which district it wants to see for which uses, what its overall priorities are for how the city's going to function and how people are going to interact with different spaces throughout the city. That's set out first, established by that comprehensive plan, and the zoning ordinance is the tool that the city has to control the way development happens, anything new and also existing uses, to be in accordance with the priorities set out in that plan.
Okay, and with a particular zoning ordinance, does there have to be some sort of planning purpose behind it?
Yeah, well, I mean, at its core, cities are only allowed to enact any kind of regulations if there's a police power at their source. Sort of there's something on behalf of the general health, safety, and welfare that the city is acting upon so that it can control what people are doing on their private property or in their...
So you as a planning professional, if you review a zoning ordinance or an amendment and it does not promote the health, safety, and general welfare of the general citizenry of the municipality, in this case Bethlehem, is that a basis to find the zoning amendment or ordinance invalid?
Well, in my understanding, that's what allows the city to regulate what it is that people are doing with themselves or their land, and so if for some reason that ordinance doesn't act on behalf of the public welfare, then the city would have trouble figuring out how it's supposed to interfere in that way.
And did you find, with a reasonable degree of certainty in your area of expertise, that this particular zoning amendment, 1304.04 subsection B, did not promote the health, safety, and general welfare of Bethlehem?
I was taken aback at how different it was from the intent of the original provision of the ordinance to think about corner properties differently, which we...
She didn't finish her response. If she could at least finish her response.
Okay, just let her finish and then you can object.
The previous ordinance clearly stemmed from the city contemplating mixed uses, thinking about how a variety of uses existed in neighborhoods, harken back to historical uses of properties in those neighborhoods. We had done something identical to that in Allentown. The amendment operated in a very different, way to actually allow non-conforming uses to expand, which is sort of the opposite of what a typical zoning ordinance does.
Do you have an objection, Mr. Bishop?
I'm looking at the 9 areas. I don't